begin, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Rashni Selvaraju. Oh, and I'm from Lokja. I'm a junior associate there. Today, I'll be conducting this webinar to talk about cybersecurity for small and mid-sized business. And why? Because we are giving off free resources, and we are trying to help small businesses and spread as much as awareness as possible. And this will not be more like an introduction to cyber crimes and cyber threats to those who are very new to cyber security. Okay, a single breach of data can put an organization out of business within a few short months. Cybersecurity is no longer just an IT issue, it is an overall business risk issue. Yes, cybercrime is a genuine threat and it has the potential to wreak havoc on a business with really devastating consequences. Cybersecurity should be taken seriously as everything is online. Like most of us do work remotely and every sensitive data is out there online. And it is as normal to gain sensitive data by hackers as easy as we uploading a selfie on our social media. Yes, it's that easy. Okay, before we move deeper into it, let's go through some numbers. So the numbers you see here are actually from statistics. Many people believe the hackers will be busy hacking into larger enterprises for larger benefits, but that's not true. That's a myth. Truth is, small businesses do not have enough resources, and they do not have they do not have enough knowledge about cybersecurity precautions to protect their data. Out of all data breaches, 43 of them involve small and medium-sized enterprises. Each cyber attack can cause the business to lose at least $3 million. There are many ways cyber attacks are executed. Cyber criminals are constantly finding new ways to carry out their attacks, and 92% of them are carried out via email. Many of you would have heard of the term phishing. It's a very commonly used term where hackers misinterpret certain organizations or an individual demanding immediate response to you through email. This is one example of many attacks executed via email. 83% of small medium enterprises are not financially prepared to recover from the damages incurred due to cyber attacks. Due to lack of knowledge, 91% of companies do not even have cyber liability insurance to cover their damages. So this is a chart showing the most common and popular type of attacks done. They are the phishing, and then stolen devices and credential thefts. And as you can see, the hacker's favorite is phishing. I'll be starting off this webinar by viewing things from a hacker's point of view. Understanding your enemy is an essential component of a successful defense. Then followed by learning how does one organization become a target and how to protect ourselves from an attack. Lastly, we will look into some real incidents and have a quick discussion about them. We will have Q&A session towards the end, and meanwhile, you can also drop any questions along the way in the chat. My boss Ilya will uh, help you clear your doubts. Okay, so there are two kinds of hackers we should know of. They are the black hat hackers and the white hat hackers. So what makes them different from each other is their motive. One has malicious thoughts and motive while the other one is doing it for good deeds. So why? What are the motives? Black hats are the hackers with malicious motive. They hack for financial gains. They often also hack for fame. Yes, fame. By hacking into major organizations, give them a sense of achievement and thrill. Other reasons being representing of a cause or activist. Other reasons they will do is for protests and cyber crimes. White hat hackers are also known as ethical hackers. They use the same method as the black hat hackers, but then their motive is for good reasons, such as organizations themselves hiring these people to find the loopholes where potential hackers can uh, breach into their security network, and then they go into there and they will fix it. Okay, now that we know what is their motive, let's talk about how they get themselves trained for an attack. You will be surprised how easy resources are available online for hackers to just train themselves. They are available in popular platforms such as Google and YouTube, where they can just watch an 1 hour video course and then just gain the knowledge to immediately hack into someone account. So a new hacker is like a reason every day. So like you are not safe at all. Some of them even attend proper certification courses like those in the white hat hackers will attend to, but they do not follow the ethics and then they breach the certification. And some of cases where like white hat hackers who are experienced in hacking, they turn black hat hackers as their motive change over time. Now becoming a target. So these are the 5 phases of attack. So we will look at them, each one of them in sequence. First one being recognize is the first phase where the hacker tries to collect as many information about a targeted audience as possible. This includes researching and finding out of organizations, IP addresses, range, their networks and such. And these informations are publicly available at in the company or the organization's website, the employee's LinkedIn profile, where they have a lot of details about their company, which will be written down or taken up by all the hackers. Second phase of this hacking is the scanning. This involves taking all the information gathered from the first phase and examining it alongside with the organization's network. They then scan through to seek out any kind of information that can help them perpetrate attacks such as user accounts. If you see in the slide on your right hand side, it's an actual website available online to make it convenient for hackers to just scan through an organization's profile. So you just pay, this is a paid one, so you just pay some amount and then you can scan, but there are also free ones available online. You will be shocked about to find out how many resources are actually available and accessible to hackers. So this is the third phase. After seeking and gaining the information required, hackers move on to the third phase where the actual hacking begins. Vulnerabilities discovered during the first and second phase will now be exploited to gain access. This is the point where hackers get to pick which of the many unique methods they wish to use to begin their attack. Examples of attacks are phishing emails, malicious links, and impersonation attacks. Now that they have gained access of the system, all they have got to do now is to maintain the access. This is if they have the intention to repeat exploitation and attacks to the same organization. They will harden the system from other hackers as they know how hackers enter into your network. They will block the loopholes so that they have full access and they own your system all by themselves. Last phase will be covering tracks. Hackers cover their tracks in order to avoid detection by security personnel and own the system in silence, so they can secretly, quietly keep exploiting your account and no one knows that there is someone hidden behind. So what are the some methods they do to cover their tracks is they clear their log events, they shred the history files and such. Okay, so how do you protect your organization from an attack? So the 3 pillars of security are people, processes, and technologies. The people refers to the human resource available in an organization. Physical security cannot exist without people. The people are the ones who execute the tasks described in the process, and they use the technologies that is available. So the people's it is important for organizations to employ the employees with the right skills, experience, and attitude to hand the task. Process involves coherent structures and way of working to mitigate risk or deal with threats in real time. Process involves continuous updating of documents. Like I mentioned, hackers constantly evolve their attack methods. So a plan must always be in hand in black and white. Technology is a tool used to keep all the all our data secured, but no tool by itself can effectively secure data. One need to be knowledgeable of what the tool is telling you, how to deploy it properly, and how to customize it according to your environment. Hackers often think that people are the weakest link among the three of the links I've shown. Humans are constantly multitasking and working under highly pressurized environment. Not me, my boss is quite flexible. All it takes is a simple distraction by a hurried employee. This small mistake due to negligence and lack of awareness are most likely to occur compared to a computer or a technology that is programmed to do what it's supposed to do. Okay, so how to protect your organization? Firstly, you have to identify your risks, and for that, you have to run frequent risk assessment tests. Firstly, identify all your potential hazards. The definition of hazard is a threat that compromises your data or assets with a negative consequences like malware. So, malware is a software designed to disrupt, damage, or gain unauthorized access to your computer system. So this could be done by brainstorming and answering some questions. For example, what are your most important assets? How do you collect and store your data and assets? What are your internal and external vulnerabilities? And how do you handle if you are in a point where you are a victim of a cyber breach? So as for the second step, protect and detect. Once you've developed a potential threat list after answering the questions, you will need to compare them against your system and network and processes and determine the impact and the possibility what will happen if the incident actually occur. The organization further need to introduce continuous monitoring solution that detects suspicious activities and other threats. If a cyber attack occurs despite that all, the organization must have a response plan in hand to manage the effect of the event, document all the information as a report to conduct all the activities necessary to eliminate the incident and integrate the report into revised response strategies. And this will help you be more alert when there's a repeat attack and to even prevent the repeat attack. Okay, so here are some steps to pick up for a starter. Firewall acts as a perimeter. Perimeter as in it blocks the traffic coming from the internet to an organization's network. So it helps to protect users from the internet itself. This is one of the first lines of defense that an organization can pick up. Okay, next is to document your cybersecurity policies. Refers to the paperwork and all the document policies, guidelines, and posters that you see in near your computers where it says 5 steps to prevent getting phishing emails or opening malicious link. So these are 5 ways these documentations can be done. Some examples could be standard guidelines emphasized for employees on how to identify malicious links and phishing emails. Procedures set for the victims to report this incident to higher authorities, and strong password policies and mobile management where all devices, including employees' personal devices brought to work, are always in compliance, protecting the organization's network. Okay. Next is security awareness training must be conducted on a regular basis. This strengthens the weakest link of people, like I mentioned earlier, the 3 pillars of security: people, technology, and policies. So this is one of it, especially when working from home, being picked up by many organizations right now. All of us are working remotely. Ensuring that your staffs are equipped with the right skills to minimize and handle online risks, improve the weakest link, and protecting your organization. And organizations must have a guideline for employees to have strong passwords and always enabling multi-factor authentication whenever it's available. Next, always keep a backup of all data, both on-site and off-site, in case of a hazard or threat. You could do so by storing them in the cloud. Next, install software such as antivirus, anti-spyware, anti-malware, and such on your device. This detects and removes viruses and any other kind of malicious software from your devices. This software do not stop phishing entirely, but it protects your devices from multi-layered protection, which prevents your devices from being infected if you fall victim to such scams. Okay, so now it's securing your company website. The difference between HTTP and HTTPS, the ones you see in your URL when you type company organization's website to go to their official website. So HTTP exchange your information is in plain text, enabling hackers to easily steal sensitive data such as name, addresses, and your credit card credentials. Whereas HTTPS adds a layer of encryption where the information is not readable by the hackers, as they do not have the key to encrypt it. So log into your web hosting plan, choose a SSL certificate, activate and install it, and redirect users to use HTTP as domains instead of HTTP. So by doing that, you will also give your customers a confidence, and it's professional. If you notice that if you enter certain websites when there's HTTP only, there will be a icon showing that unsecured website. So this does not look professional on your business end. So this is highly recommended, and also protects your customer data. It gives them a confidence. And you will know that SSL certificates are available online widely. There's a lot of providers who are providing these certs for free. Okay. In case of technical security failure, having funding, security insurance, and cybersecurity policies will help minimize any business interruption and liabilities. Okay, now I'm going to share with you some real life incidents, the impacts, how did the organization respond, and what could have been done otherwise. Okay, so hotel cash reserves were up. Fraudulent transfers amounted to more than 1 million. They could not recover what they lost. So this is a phishing incident where this hotel CEO accidentally opened an email with a malicious link, and actually this hacker actually managed to gain all the customer data, everything from the CEO's laptop itself, and they lost $1 million. So they could not recover their loss, but they only managed to engage a cybersecurity firm to help them mitigate the risk of repeat attack. So there was no solution for the current attack, but they had to take precautions for a repeated one. So this is definitely phishing, as he had clicked on a link in the email, which infected his device with malware. Having a well-constructed cyber incident plan enables the organization to protect themselves from a repeat attack themselves than to go to a cybersecurity firm. So they could have saved costs by not going to a cybersecurity firm, and they could have handled this by themselves if they had a proper policies in black and white in hand. So like I mentioned in previous slides earlier, where it's always good to have policies and recovery plans in hand so that you can save yourself from a repeat incident. So they lost their 1 million, and also they have to definitely apply for sufficient trainings for their employees so they are aware how to identify a phishing email, what kind of links not to open. So spreading awareness is also very important, like how I mentioned earlier, where trainings should be provided for employees. Okay, this is also a similar case, but this happened to a small government contractor. So it's not a CEO of a hotel, but he's a very small contractor. So this is an example that you are never too small to be a target. So this is phishing again, and this time data was sold on a dark web. So a senior engineer actually clicked on a wrong link, which actually they gained the company's data, and they sold it on the dark net. And this was a larger case, and forensics were involved as it's on the dark web, and they had to shut down their businesses for the time being to run security checks and cyber security checks. And they lost 1 million. They lost a lot of customers, reputation, and loss of revenue. And all of this couldn't be um, gained because get back because they don't have any liability insurance. What could have done? What could have been done to prevent this incident? As usual, being the number one priority in installing firewall software such as antivirus, and second most important priority, training employees and spreading awareness of the implications of one negligent click. Okay, so this QR code here brings you to our resource library where you can find checklists, guides, presentation slides, and it's absolutely free. You can take a screenshot. This slides can be found in the resource library. It's uploaded there as well. You can also find cyber safe checklist, which enables you to better understanding of your organization and if it has the right policies and procedures in place. You can also find informative decks with information such as password security practices, where you can find how to set a strong password and how to spot signs of phishing. There's like 6 signs of phishing emails that you can spot and signs that you can spot, which is all available in the resource library. Okay, now we have come to the question and answer section. So do feel free to ask questions in the chat, and I and Ilya will be more than happy to help you clear them.
Hi, Raja. Thank you very much for the question. So we do have a question. Is there any security against cryptocurrency and blockchain attacks? Well, Raja, if we do understand you correctly, and if you mean, for example, majority attacks for 51%, as most cryptocurrency works on consensus, currently the way to defend yourself against those is through identification. There are a few companies out there that do offer solutions that would help you to identify various trends and attacks in or on cryptocurrency change. However, specifically, can you protect yourself against such attacks? The answer would be unfortunately no. Otherwise, if you are looking to protect your own wallets, it is first of all is make sure you do not get phished against cryptocurrency. Emails and the like that do ask you for your wallet information or to transfer funds into a different wallet. And if you are on some exchange, then it would be to enable two-factor authentication and again, avoid those phishing attacks against yourself and your own wallets. I do hope that answered your question, Raja. If you do have any questions, please feel free to write in the chat and we'll happily take your questions. Thank you, Solomon. Solomon David Tang, thank you very much for the question. How do you react to constantly changing threats in the market? Well, some of the things that you would usually do to understand the threats in the market, you would do a continuous risk assessment in the organization. And part of it would be an evaluation of the threat vectors and everything that might be relevant to your organization. Now, as Rashini mentioned earlier, you do have the resources.start-security.net, and we do have a presentation there. Please correct me if I'm wrong, Rashini, on risk assessments and how to conduct them. If we don't, then we'll make sure to put it up there. And it is something that you do constantly for your organization. And another thing that you could do as well as part of the research is to subscribe for threat intel. And there are lots of companies. They're all pretty much the same. It really doesn't matter if you are going to invest $1,000 or $50,000. You're pretty much going to get the same information out there. And you would get from there. However, it does still require experience and hands-on work from you to understand who is targeting your information and what is happening out there. One of the websites that I do love, and we fully support the person running it through donations as well, is Hackmageddon by Paolo Passeri. And he updates the website on various attacks statistics, what happens, who gets targeted. There's a very nice breakdown depending on industries, types of attacks that may be targeted to you. And from my experience, I've proposed this website to several organizations, large organizations in Singapore as well, and they were very happy to adopt it and support them as well. So I do recommend check Hackmageddon. We are not affiliated with them. They're friends. So do check them out and do contribute for your work, for their work if you do like it. So I do hope that answered your question, Solomon. Please do feel free to ask any questions. We're still here. Until everybody leaves, we are still here answering all the questions that you may have. For those that are interested, by the way, you can claim CPEs, your continuous education credits for your CISSP, CISM, CISA, whichever certification you can think of. You can claim this session against those CPEs later on and write this link to the webinar or recording that you participated. Madhumita has asked, how do we make sure that our passwords are safe? Well, Madhumita, I can tell you how we do this internally, and that is that we use Dashlane, which is a password manager, and there are other password managers out there that do offer pretty much the same functionality, such as Keeper and a few others. And what happens there is that we have a dashboard that shows how many of the password in our organization, our company, are reused or are considered weak from those standards. And there's also, you can call it password compromise monitoring, meaning that if the passwords have been compromised, then we do get a notification that is tied to our company portals, to the email addresses, and anything out there. So that is one thing that we use internally to make sure that none of our passwords get out there. But there are other ways. And one of the ways that you can always check is, have I been pawned? And you put your email address. They also have a website for passwords specifically. So if you do go to the website and you click on the top menu to passwords, you can type in a password and they can tell you, has the password been compromised before? So that is a good solution. Again, it's free. You can build an API on top of it and run everything that you need from there. Vani has asked, if I receive spam emails, what should I do? Unfortunately, Vani, on spam emails, there's nothing you can do. You're going to continue getting those spam emails. And one of the things that I would recommend is just do not ever click on the unsubscribe button in the spam email. Because when you click on the unsubscribe button, they know your email address is alive and they will keep on spamming you. So the best thing to do is ignore. Or another thing that we have published on Start Security on the website is the DuckDuckGo emails. And DuckDuckGo, it's a free service that allows you to create disposable emails for any type of service that you use. Now, I use it personally to generate various emails for every service that I do sign up for. And if you see that you're starting to get spam from that specific email, then you can always just disable it. So I do recommend to check it out. It's a free service and it will redirect emails to whichever email you choose to do it to. So I hope that answered your question. Thank you very much, Solomon. Have a lovely day ahead as well. Hi, Roshni. So Roshni asked, what if we accidentally click on a malicious link? Well, Roshni, this depends on a lot of things. And one is, how do you even know it's a malicious link? If your antivirus on your machine popped and said, hey, this is a malicious link, then it was probably stopped by your antivirus. If nothing happened, then you can probably just run an antivirus scan on your machine. There are lots out there. They're all pretty much the same. They offer the same capabilities with the same things. If you are, let's say, you go 150% paranoid, then you can hand your laptop or machine to uh, a legitimate company that would go and scan through it, and make sure you do go for a legitimate company with good reviews. Otherwise, you can get scammed out there, and they will run whatever tools that may be needed. However, again, if it was stopped, I would not care too much. You can just continue doing what you do unless you start seeing some, I don't know, compromised credit cards or anything that may be out there. Then you probably should be worried more and maybe even just reinstall the entire system that you have. I hope that answered your question, Roshni. So Pavitra asked, how do I detect a data breach? Well, if we are talking about an organization, there are several ways to do that. The simplest one would probably be to identify large amounts of data leaving your organization to an IP that you don't know. Um, through that, you would probably need tools and technologies in place to actually identify that that data is leaving your organization. Other than that, attackers today are very sophisticated, and it might prove very hard to know that you may have been compromised if an if your name or email addresses or anything like that does not appear on the dark web. A lot of the companies would figure out they have been compromised only after their data has appeared for sale on the dark web. So it's really hard today. And so unless you're really with your fingers on the pulse, trying to understand what is happening, where is your data being sent to, who's receiving it, it's going to be extremely hard to do that. Great, and thank you very much for the question. Again, please feel free to ask the questions. We will be here for a bit more, answering all the questions until everybody leaves, and then we'll also drop off the call.
Okay, while you are asking the questions, I have one more slide to show. Okay, so do feel free to take 3 to 5 minutes of your time to do the feedback form, which will help our future webinars. And also on the right, you will see a Start Security website where you can also find our resource library. And in the resource library, you can, like what I mentioned, you can see like Pavitra's questions and Madhu's questions, how to have a proper password. You can actually go into the resource library, and there's actually a deck there showing how can you actually have a strong password, what to do and what not to do. And I hope that will be beneficial for you. So do feel free to check that out. And like Ilya mentioned, do feel free to drop any questions. We will stay here a little longer for your questions. Okay, I believe there's no questions. Do feel free to contact us if there's any, or when you assess our resource library and you have new questions, you can just drop us an email. We are here to help. And thank you so much for joining, and thank you for your time. Yes, contact Start Security. You can also find in our website. Do contact us if you need any help. So that's the end of the webinar. You can I'll be dropping the call in a while. Thank you for joining once again.